That DD-214, I mean, you've seen the memes, you've seen all those types of things. You know, you're serving, you're going through all those years, and then you just want to get a giant blanket printed with your DD-214 and go to sleep all snugly with it when you leave service, right?
Right. Yeah. You don't got to stand in formation no more. You don't got to listen to nobody anymore.
Right.
I'm done. No, but it's very important.
But Miguel, you're telling me that a lot of people are coming to you and they don't have their DD-214 ready, or their family members don't know where the DD-214 is to apply for some of these things.
Absolutely. So there's a couple ways we can get a copy of your DD-214. I mean, sometimes it might not be a DD-214, but you can request like a letter of benefits from the VA. It'll normally tell you, the service, if you have an honorable discharge, the dates and time frames that you serve. But if not, then we can request one from the National Archives. Now, when we request one, we help you fill out what is known Standard Form 180, SF 180. Okay. If you don't have a DD-214, we'll be more than happy to assist you in filing that form with the National Archives. Now, there is a little caveat to that. It's going to take a little bit of time. Okay. But once we file the form with the National Archives, it might take a little bit of time, but you will get a copy. One thing that I tell veterans and their families, especially when you're getting out of service, and you be like, "Hey, I'm done. I don't want to know anything else." File it with your county veteran service officer. We'll be more than happy to make a trip to the county courthouse and file it for you. So just in case, later down the road you do, lose a copy or anything like that, you may then go retrieve a copy from Harris County, courthouse and get it certified then and there, and it'll be on record, so it's never going to get lost. Okay, so if a wife needs it later down the road, she can also go get it. Okay. And then also have it on file with the VA. If you file for benefits or previously filed for benefits or anything like that, we can also help you get a copy. But more than likely, we'll get a copy from the National Archives. We'll file that form for you. It's a very simple process. I know it can be extensive. It'll be like, I don't really want to do that, but we'll make it as easy as possible and get that for you.
So to dial back though, to unpack this a little bit.
Okay.
The DD-214 obviously is, it's almost like that report card from your service time frame.
Absolutely. That's one thing you do not want to lose.
And that report card, that DD-214, is something you absolutely need to hold on to.
Absolutely.
In the case you lost it, or in the case because the DD-214 isn't only for educational benefits, it's for any benefits. And in the case of family member, if the veteran is not available or not with us, the family member can they go through you to request something from the National Archives?
Absolutely. The only thing that won't say I require, but it's the actual the National Archives require, is the information. So as simple as the veteran's name, their date of birth, their social security number, where they were born. They're all questions that are on the form. Okay, and what I tell families, family members and or surviving spouses, is the more information you have on the veteran, the better it is for the National Archives to locate that record. Okay, because the little information you provide to me is what's going to go on the form. It's going to be a little bit difficult trying to find, example, let's say, document DD-214. I'm just making up a number, 3,046. Let's say 3,046, it's actually me. But if I only provide, a name, if I'm not here anymore, my wife decides to get a DD-214, and let's say, comes to VSD and get a copy, help get a copy, be like, well, my husband's name is Miguel Rodriguez. It might take a little bit to try to get track of that DD-214. But, sometimes it's good to have those conversations with the spouse, the veteran, and say, hey, what branch did you serve? And I know it's rhetorical and be like, you really didn't know what branch, what they served in, but having that information, because the more information you can provide to us and the more information we can provide on the form requesting the DD-214, the easier the process is, the smoother the process is. Now, I'm not saying to be the faster you're going to get it, but it's easier to locate that record to get that copy for them. Okay,
so don't lose it. If you can, help it. Communicate with your spouse, communicate with your family members. However, if you do lose it, or let me dial back. Also, you have an option to file it with the county.
Absolutely, and it's
So you never
absolutely
lose
great.
it.
And if you don't want to file it yourself, we'll do it for you. Just give us a copy of your DD-214, and we'll be more than happy to file that DD-214 for you, and then also send you an additional copy to your address. That way, you have that. And another thing that I recommend: just make a couple copies of it. Because we like to get some paper and just throw it down, but that's a very, very, very important piece of a document that you don't want to lose.
So let's see. Army?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Army?
Oh,
Navy? Oh, Jason's double dipping on that one. Air Force? U.S. Marine Corps. So we are all in the same boat when it comes to any of these issues, questions, and items. And in fact, actually, Sue Ellen, you had a story working. You're actually more than you're not just a veteran. You also come from a military family, and you also dealt with some of these issues that we talked about earlier in this chat.
Yes, I did. So last November, my husband's grandfather, who was a World War II vet, passed away, leaving behind his spouse, and who was in need of benefits. And he did not leave behind a DD-214. He did leave behind some records. He was very good at record keeping. And of course, we need to get that needed information for the National Archive, not just name and social security number, but we found his rate in the Navy. Okay, that's very important. And other information, so we could submit that to the National Archive. It took us approximately 8 weeks, but this is November when the holidays were coming up and such, so you never know, it could take a lot quicker. And we also had to navigate to see which benefits that his spouse, my husband's grandmother, actually qualified for. And this was something that that the Veterans Services Department could have been very, very helpful with. And now that I know they're here, in case of that arises, I know where to start. So I wanted to share that story that if you experience the death of a family member, or if you need to get this paperwork, please don't put yourself through the headache or the migraine of cutting through red tape and trying to do the research. Please go to the VSD. Please see these folks. They are very knowledgeable and have been there where you have been, and they can definitely help you cut through the red tape and help you file this paperwork.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I kind of wanted to draw as we come to a close of today's chat. I mean, this is not just business for us. A lot of this that we talk about, that we deal with, that we handle on a daily basis, it's personal. We're dealing with friends, families, former colleagues, veterans, comrades.